Welcome to Own Your Words. Outrage and outrageous. Meaning with examples. Outrage. Meaning with examples. Pronunciation. Outrage. Outrage. It is a noun and verb. Pronunciation. Outrage. Outrage. It is a noun and verb. Noun meaning. 1. A feeling of anger and shock. 2. A shocking, morally unacceptable, and usually violent action. 3. A strong feeling of anger and shock, or an act or event that causes these feelings. 4. Profound indignation, anger, or hurt, caused by such an act. 5. An act of wanton cruelty or violence, any gross violation of law or decency. 6. A powerful feeling of resentment, or anger aroused by something perceived as an injury, insult, or injustice. 7. An extremely strong reaction of anger, shock, or indignation. 8. An action or event causing outrage. Noun examples. 1. In this case, the words of the judge who approved his removal have caused justifiable outrage. 2. This event, more than any of his pop outrages, has struck a chord with the public. 3. The terrible living conditions of migrant workers, he said, were an outrage. 4. Radio talk shows have been besieged with callers expressing outrage on the subject. 5. The conviction of the 3 demonstrators has caused public outrage locally. 6. It's an outrage that so much public money should have been wasted in this way. 7. The bomb, which killed 15 people, was the worst of a series of terrorist outrages. 8. Many politicians and members of the public expressed outrage at the verdict. 9. Nevertheless, as long as there are political outrages, there will be poetry from her. 10. Matters of preference, like music and interior design, do not provoke moral outrage. 11. It was the first time I had ever detected a trace of anger, or outrage in her voice. Verb meaning. 1. To cause someone to feel very angry, shocked, or upset. 2. To subject to grievous violence or indignity. 3. To subject to grievous violence or indignity. 4. Arouse fierce anger, shock, or indignation in someone. 5. Flagrantly violate or infringe a principle, law, etc. Verb examples. 1. Now, outraged people all over the UK will be joining forces to force it off the air again. 2. There are also other laws such as the law against outraging the modesty of a woman. 3. He and his family were outraged, but did he let this rejection discourage him? 4. Around 30 members of the public attended the meeting and were outraged at the decision. 5. I cannot be the only person that is absolutely outraged that this type of situation occurs. 6. A proposed 5% cut in pay has outraged staff at the warehouse. 7. People were outraged by the sight of white skin, for reasons I had the sense to understand. 8. Uncle Vernon looked as outraged as if Harry had just uttered a disgusting swear word. 9. People were outraged by the sight of white skin, for reasons I had the sense to understand. 10. Each one was convinced of his own purity, and outraged by the idiocy he saw in the other. 11. At the time I was outraged, and I can still feel anger about that cold-blooded viciousness. 12. Many people are outraged at the amount of rubbish dumped on the road recently. Outrageous. Meaning with examples. Pronunciation. Outrageous. Outrageous. It is an adjective. Pronunciation. Outrageous. Outrageous. It is an adjective. Meaning: 1. Shocking and morally unacceptable. 2. Unacceptable, offensive, violent, or unusual. 3. If you describe something as outrageous, you are emphasizing that it is unacceptable, or very shocking. 4. Something outrageous is extreme, over the top, beyond reason. It's hard to believe, and usually not in a good way. 5. Shockingly bad or excessive. 6. Wildly exaggerated or improbable. 7. Very bold and unusual and rather shocking. 8. Of the nature of or involving gross injury or wrong. 9. Grossly offensive to the sense of right or decency. 10. Highly unusual or unconventional, extravagant, remarkable. Examples. 1. It's an outrageous act of poor sportsmanship, which of course, makes for great comedy. 2. No exaggeration or vilification directed their way is too outrageous for consideration. 3. I give almost any idea or perspective a chance, no matter how outrageous it seems. 4. He was often known for wearing rather outrageous clothes whenever possible, as well. 5. So people suddenly saw, hey, I can because a star for doing something completely outrageous. 6. This is outrageous behavior from an industry that is supposed to have cleaned up its act. 7. The outrageous expectations and inflexible demands of the weekend are null on Thursday. 8. It was outrageous for anybody to suggest that they were not spending enough on bridges. 9. The biggest stars of the day, paid outrageous fees and treated like royalty, were castrati. 10. Why would anyone pay such an outrageous amount of money simply to play music? 11. Several times in those early weeks of September, she showed up in something outrageous. 12. The papers were allowed to print outrageous things about himself and his troops. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for more videos.